How's it going, gentlemen? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm leaving in less than half an hour, so I wanted to do a talk on fear. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos this week. I'm going to film a lot of videos on teaching you how to overcome fear, because I realize there's a lot that goes into that. Even though on a practical level, it's simple on a practical level, but for most people, for most of you, for most men, it's not simple to get themselves to do it, because psychologically there's a lot of thoughts, there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of fears, there's a lot of worries, there's a lot of paranoia, and that can feel um, complicated, that can feel really heavy, that can feel very stressful. But that's just one of the symptoms when someone is afraid, and people will come up with different rationalizations to not do it. But basically, whatever rationalization you're coming up with to not face your fear, it's just another way of getting out of doing it. So people often, and it's a human thing. We've all done it. We all do it, and this can be a big. This is actually a big mistake. It doesn't make you overcome it. In most cases, people often want to sit down and they want to talk about their fear. They want to talk about how they feel about it, and how it frightens them, and things like that. And that's to get some psychological and emotional release, and that has its place. But that still ain't going to get you over the fear. The only way to get over fear is to volunteer, choose to confront it head on and to face it. And that's my teaching, and that takes you choosing to be brave, because it's true. Psychologists have proven, and I knew this before they even proven it and said it, because I confirmed it through my own life experiences and facing thousands of scary, fearful situations. Some of the situations I've faced in my life were life and death threatening situations. Obviously, others weren't life threatening in terms of I could risk my life, but they were frightening. So I've faced all types of fears. So many. Maybe I'll do a video about that and list them. That might be interesting for people. So, when you choose to face a fear, it gives you strength. It gives you an extra courage, and it feels good. But what a lot of people do is they choose not to face their fears, and then they feel ashamed and they feel guilty and they feel embarrassed about that. And that's just that's just not part of being a man. That's just human nature. You're always going to feel like a coward. You're never going to feel good about yourself. No matter what affirmations you do, you can tell yourself all day in the mirror, I'm great, I'm this, I'm that, I'm valuable. And there is truth in that. But at the end of the day, you can't lie to yourself. You can't lie to that part of your psychology which will judge you if you don't take action on your fears. And that's what creates the suffering more than anybody else in the world. It's self-suffering, and it's the way that we view ourselves when we don't do things that are courageous and things that make us feel good about who we are, make us feel good about our existence. So every single client that's ever got in touch with me, the first thing they will verbalize always is how bad they feel about themselves. And the reason why they feel like that is because they haven't been able to find the courage. They haven't been able to get their mind in a strong position. Mind, heart, body, soul, align those things together and say, right, I'm afraid of that. That frightens the hell out of me. But I've had enough of this now. I've had enough of running scared. I've had enough of rationalizing it. I've had enough of avoiding it. I've had enough of hiding it. I've had enough of, medicating myself with drugs or alcohol or food or addictions or pornography. All these ways in which I'm using and doing to get out of facing my fear, because I'm terrified, and I'm going to attack it head on. I'm going to face it with all my heart, with all my might. When you do that, you literally transform. It's not just it's psychological, but it is also physiological. It's biological. There's a biological response: spiritual, biological, emotional, mental. All those things start to work for you rather than against you, because you have voluntarily decided that you're going to be a brave person. And listen, let me just make something clear and explain something, right? Because people get mixed up. It's not enough just to tell yourself good things, because let me give you an example of where so many people lie to themselves and they get this wrong, right? Now, let me explain the distinction between good positive affirmation and bad affirmation. Bad affirmation is when you say, I'm great, I'm committed, I take action, I'm brave, I'm courageous, I'm great. If you say all those things, guys, but it's all lies, because in your life you're not facing 10 of your fears, that's all bollocks. That's going to make you feel worse, because what you're doing is you're basically not taking action, not facing fears, which is going to, whatever I say, it's in the dictionary, coward's going to come up in you, and then you're glossing that over with, but I'm still great. But realistically, as far as our human psyche is concerned, you're not great because you're not doing it. So self-esteem, self-love, confidence, integrity, dignity, character, valuing, respect, those things can only come from actions. They can't just come from words alone. Words are not powerful enough. That's why the saying is so true. And I'm not that big on sayings, but it comes from wisdom. Actions speak louder than words. And what does that actually mean? It means what I just said. It's not enough just to tell the mind. It's not, because, and that's how people work. If I just sat here and come on YouTube and no one knew who I was and I didn't demonstrate anything, and I just said, I'm great, I'm good looking, I'm the best, listen to me, everybody be like, laugh at me. No one would respect me. Everyone would be like, this guy's nuts. Maybe a couple of people would be like, oh, he's positive. No one's going to buy that, because you've not demonstrated courage. But obviously, because over the years, because I have demonstrated consistent courage, consistent action, I've showed it, and and through people I've helped, through the talks I do, through the social confidence, the event, so many different ways, being on different podcast shows, because I've done that, people know it. So when I speak from what I've done, it resonates, because it's not just the words. The words come from the action that I've taken. So when you put positive affirmation with taking action, that's when you're going to another level, because you're saying, I'm great. And then the next day you're going out and you're going to the boxing gym and you're training. So you confirm that affirmation's true, because going to the boxing gym takes greatness. Then if you go and do a public talk and you help people, or you share your story, or you just go to Toastmasters and you do a public talk, when you say, I've got greatness in me, I can do anything, I'm a good speaker, I can inspire people, that affirmation's true, because that affirmation is backed up with evidence, and the psychology knows that, and you guys know that. But if you're not doing those things and you're saying, I'm great, but deep down, you're scared to do a live stream. You can't do a live stream because you care what people think, and you're scared that you won't be liked, or people will attack you online, whatever. You're not great then. Everybody's got greatness in them. But if you don't be great, if you don't act great, it doesn't mean squat, it means nothing. So you can't fake these things. And that's what lots of people do. And that's why deep down they're not happy. So it's pretty simple, but it doesn't mean it's easy. It takes courage. To be courageous is not easy. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody around the world would be pulling together, getting off their arse, and they would be contributing. But people are not, because many people are dominated, destroyed, controlled by fear. But many people are. And the people that are out there making a difference to other people, or even selfishly just to themselves. So, you've got to get to a point where you realize all the things you're doing are failing you right now, or most of them. because you're not facing your fears, and that's all you need to do. But people get caught up in wanting to quote from books, because quoting from books is a way of you getting out of facing your fear. Reading a book is comfortable and easy. Anyone can do it. A child can do it. An adult can do it. It doesn't require any courage, guts. But jumping out of an airplane is terrifying. Going out and giving a public talk, if you haven't done it and got experience, is terrifying. Telling someone you love them for the first time is terrifying if you're not sure that they're going to love you back. Getting on a sales call and selling something for the first time is absolutely terrifying. Terrifying to the human being until you've done it hundreds of times and you've succeeded at it and you failed at it. So people love quoting books. People love recommending books. People love recommending other people's teaching. But very few people like to look at their life themselves and say, what am I afraid of? What is holding me back? What do I want to achieve? That's what I'm afraid. I'm afraid of this, this, and this. Or maybe there's just one dominating fear in your life that is making your life a living hell every day. That's what you've got to face if you want any type of salvation, freedom, confidence. So it's really understanding this. And you can only understand this by first being a coward, which everyone's been in their life. I was a coward for the first part, not for all of the first part of my life, but there was many years where I was a coward in my life, and I knew I was. I didn't need anybody to tell me. I knew I was a coward because I kept running from my fears all the time, and it made me feel terrible about myself. And there was nothing anybody could say that was going to change that. They could say, even though it was nice, because parents can be nice, like, my mom and people say, oh, you're really lovely looking, you're a good person. And I was a good person. Maybe I was good looking, but that didn't take away the fact that I felt shitty about myself because I wasn't facing my fears, and that was killing me. And that's the same for my clients until they take action and take my program or find the courage from watching my videos and go out and do it. But when I said one of the best affirmations in the world, which is, I've had enough of this. I can't do it no more. I'm not doing this no more. I can't live like this anymore. I can't do it. I've had enough. And this sounds extreme, and it didn't happen, and it won't happen, hopefully, to anyone. Please God, it won't. But I was like, I'm willing to die. I don't care if I die, because living like this is killing me every day. Slow death. I feel ashamed. I feel disgusting. I feel embarrassed. I feel powerless. I feel down every day. I can't do this no more. I can't do it. I've got to face this fear. I got to win my self-respect back. I got to feel what it feels like to like myself as a human being, to have some confidence. Then I started facing my fears when I was quite young. And when I faced it, oh boy, I actually felt for the first time, I like myself. I'm proud of myself. Wow, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I was strong enough. I thought I was a weak coward. I thought I was a weak man who just was a disgrace and embarrassment, who couldn't do it, who wasn't good enough, who was always that person that my psychology would tell I am. That's what I thought. I thought I am this terrible person. I am a disgrace. But when I did it, oh my God, I wasn't on drugs, but it felt like being on I've never done ecstasy, but it felt like being on drugs. The euphoric high, I felt like Superman. It's like it just took away every bit of pain and shame that I ever felt. I felt like a man. I felt great. And then I became intelligent about life, about fear. Then I realized how much bullshit I was around, how many people bullshitted me and gave me advice that was bollocks. But I did have more compassion. I was like, now I know why they said that. Now I know why they acted like that, because they were terrified like I was, but they didn't face their fear. I just did. And I could also understand people that I respected and admired, and I always looked up to as a kid and said, how does he do that? How does she do that? They're fucking so brave, because they did what I did. They found their courage. Good to see you guys on. Um, I'm going to do a live stream later on when I get back from boxing. This is going to be continued. So I always say, and I always said when I coach clients and help them get over their social fears and their life fears, as we go through this program on the 6 weeks program or the weekend confidence program, as I start helping you and pushing you and supporting you and motivating you and mentoring you to walk through your fears, it's going to be self-explanatory. Like, that will explain the teaching better than I can to you, because I can explain it to you and I enjoy it. It's fun to talk about. But the understanding you're going to get is far greater than the intellectual understanding you'll get when I sit you down over a coffee and explain to you how to overcome fear, or you see me do it, you watch me do it and take a back seat. When you do it, you're going to feel what it feels like to be a champion. You're going to experience, I like myself. Because this might sound abstract, but this is true in my experience again and again. You can't like yourself in life consistently. You can't do it. You can't like yourself if you're not facing your fears regularly. I'm not saying that you got to face them everything every day. No, no one's expected to do that. Obviously, we're all human. Everybody's got feelings, and we do need. But generally, if you're not challenging yourself and every month doing things, you can't like yourself. I've tried it. It don't work. You can do all the affirmations. Somebody else can like you and love you, and that's a lovely thing. But you won't like you, and I know all of you know this. So the brilliant thing about my teaching and the teaching that life taught me is anyone can do this. Even even the guy who thinks he's the weakest man in the world, even though he's not, but he thinks that, because that's what fear will do. You'll compare yourself to other people, and make some kind of assumption that you're less, or you just don't have. Anyone can do this, but if they have to, at some level, they have to want to do it. They have to choose to do it. I can't do it for you, and I can't give you passion, but I can motivate you, and I can tell you my story and my teachings, and that might trigger something. But anyone can do it, because I've helped so many guys. I've helped some guys that have been absolute nervous wrecks, and they've ended up becoming so confident and achieving all their goals in their life because of learning how to face fear. And the more you face fear, the easier it gets. Right, a few more minutes. But like I said, guys, make sure you subscribe and look out this week, because I'm going to be doing live streams and YouTube videos teaching you and explaining and breaking down how to overcome fear and take action. But yeah, it's it's really cutting through the overthinking. It really is. It's deciding, because when that gets triggered, when that starts going off and worrying and fearing and thinking and analyzing data and trying to predict, that's when it can get you. It can drag you in. Fear, the mental side of fear, because fear goes in about two components. You've got the emotional side of fear, which is horrible, depending on how you deal with it. Then you've got the psychological. So either one can pull you in. But a lot of people initially get pulled in by the part up here, the intellectual side, the part of human beings where we're intelligent, but we're stupid at the same time, because we're so intelligent that we think we can kind of outsmart fear through the level of thinking, and we can't. We can only outsmart it through action, through confronting it, through exposing ourselves to it, through going through it, through facing it, fighting it, overcoming it, dissolving it. All these things are the same. And that's actually more intelligent in a different way. That's what I would call the intelligence of being able to act on your courage and break through all those thoughts and stories, which feel like a lot of things, and it's very complicated. But when you take action, it makes. So that's why my teaching is simple. Clients come to me, and their mind is complicated, and their problems seem very complicated, very complex, very very sophisticated. That's one of the tricks of fear, and that's a defense mechanism as a human being to get out of doing it. Because if something's simple and anyone can do it, but it's frightening, of course you're going to come up with something to get you out of doing it, because you don't want to suffer. So you're gonna complicate something. If I complicate something and I make it so sophisticated, it's almost like now we don't understand it. Now we can just leave it or keep going over it, and that's how you don't overcome fear. So a lot of it's not, a lot of very intellectual people they struggle to face fear because they think they can solve their fear and their problems at the level of their intellect, and they can't. And that's difficult for them because in their life, that's what they've been using and that's what has been working, and that's fantastic. But in the area of fear, it doesn't work. It actually makes the fear worse because the situation just requires you getting up and walking and moving, getting up, walking out on stage and doing a public talk. That's what it requires. Obviously, inside, it takes a lot of bottle. You've got to squeeze that courage muscle. You've got to push it. You've got to feel it, and you've got to push yourself forward. And that doesn't take this. It doesn't. Yeah, it takes mental strength, but it doesn't take you. You don't need to solve a maths equation. That's a different tool. That's a different tool in the toolbox, and that's where people get stuck because it's like, I'm such an intelligent person, which is great, but wrong tool for this situation. You don't need to be intellectually intelligent to face fear. You need to be a warrior. You need to be a man. You need to have nuts. You need to have balls the size of King Kong. You need to have guts. You need to have courage. That's all you need. But that's a lot. It's easy to downplay it and go, well, being courageous and facing fear is not as sophisticated. It's not as valuable. It's not as good as solving a mathematical equation. But it is. In my experience, it is, because it enables you to do more. You can build a business, you can make money, you can help people, you can build relationships, you can travel the world, you can do YouTube, you can do boxing, you can do MMA, you can do so many things. But why not do both? You can develop both. You can be an incredibly intellectual person, you can be well read, you can be great at maths and science and and numbers and physics. And you can also be a very courageous person who takes massive action. Why not be both? That's it. You're even more powerful because you're a super intelligent man or a super intelligent woman who is super courageous and can do both. But it's very rare to find that. It's quite rare. Obviously, there are lots of people know, but it's quite rare what I'm saying. It's usually one or the other or a bit of both. So when I speak to clients all the time, yeah, I'm always impressed at how intelligent they are and how sophisticated they can break down their situation and what's holding them back. They know their psychology better than a psychologist. But what fails them is they can't find their nuts, they can't find their balls, they can't find their courage to face their fears. So they need my help. They need someone who's an expert, who's got a lifetime's worth of experience in their own life at successfully overcoming their fears and teaching hundreds of people around the world. Or if not me, somebody else who's got experience, who can actually back up what they're teaching, who has been through the things their clients have been through. So that's a great relief when you start realizing that, wow, my fears are simple. My fears are simple. My life doesn't have to be complicated. And that's where happiness and joy comes from. Self-esteem, character, respect, leadership skills, social skills, dating skills, entrepreneurial skills. All these things come from simple things. But simple things are difficult because you have to find your balls and your courage and work those muscles. So we hear the word simple and we think, Simple means it's not difficult. No, it's simple. It's simple in what you have to do in the action. It's not complicated, but it's difficult in practice because it requires emotional toughness, mental toughness, courage, heart, guts, and what's the time here? Oh no, great! I got a bit more time. I got to get to the gym at 1:30. That's great. I can do more of this talk. I'm really enjoying this. Good to see you all on the stream, by the way. Usually I do answer the questions, but I'm on a roll, so I want to keep the talk going. So, overcoming your fears, living your dreams is simple, but it is hard to do it. And that's why you should do it. That's why you should get a mentor. That's why you should get in touch with me and get the coaching. Invest invest your hard-earned money now before it's too late. And it's 15 years later and you're 45, 50, 35, and you're depressed because you're in the same position that you was in when you were 21 or 25. Or if you're 40 now, invest now, right now, before you're going to be 60 and say, where did my life go? Why did I not live my dreams? Why didn't I take Johnny's advice when he gave it to me? And I knew it was true. I knew what he was saying was true. I knew I needed to do it, but I allowed fear to get in the way. I allowed my emotions, I allowed my intellect to complicate it. And that's why people say things like, I don't know what to do in my life. Nothing makes me happy. I'm not sure to do that. That's all fear tricking you. That's you saying, I do know what to do, but I'm scared to acknowledge it because I don't want to do it because it frightens me and I don't like the way it feels. And I've heard a lot of people say it of recent, people that I really respect, successful entrepreneurs, teachers, speakers, and I agree with them. And do you know what they said? I heard Grant Cardone say this, and I agreed with Grant, and I said the same thing years ago. Grant Cardone said, I'd rather you give me a man who is stupid. Stereotypically, he's an idiot. He's not clever, but he's got a lot of guts and courage. He goes, give me that guy, and that guy can make loads of money and can impact lots of people, rather than some guy who is super intelligent, but he has no nuts. He's got not literally, but he hasn't got courage because he's not going to be able to do it. He ain't going to be able to do public speaking, is he? If he's so afraid, he's such a coward, and he's got so much intellect, he's going to keep intellectualizing something that you don't need to intellectualize. You just got to get up on stage, find your nuts, find your courage, be yourself, and tell the truth. And I said that years ago. I've had it. I've worked with hundreds of clients. And the best ones, I'm going to be honest, the best ones are the ones that are not that intellectual in that way. They're amazing to work with. They get the best results. They do. Obviously, we don't want to generalize because generalizations can be true and they can be false. Obviously, I've had clients who are from really educated backgrounds and they've got degrees and they're very smart. Some of them doctors, lawyers, and they're super brave and they do fantastic. But if I'm looking at consistency, consistency doesn't lie. It's not my opinion, it's facts. The guys that come to me that are just brave men and they don't think about it too much and they don't analyze it and they don't keep asking me, but what if that happens? What if that happens? But what would you do? They just go, tell me what I've got to do. I'm nervous, but I'm going to do it. And they do it. They're brilliant. They're easy to teach and they're easy to get success and they're easy to get a relationship and they're easy to help make money and they're easy to help them move out of their parents and they're easy to get them over their social anxiety because they're committed. And some people that are too intellectual are not committed to taking action because they over-intellectualize everything. They treat fear like maths, and fear and maths are two different components. And why do you think I'm so intelligent, even though I was called stupid for most of my life growing up? Because of the action that I've taken. And because obviously some God-given talents like we all have, because of my intuition, because of my awareness, because of my understanding, because of the success, because of the failures I've been through, because of the mental health, because of teaching hundreds of intelligent, brave people. It rubs off. because of the conversations I've had. And obviously, thanks to a lot of you for the support, and also from the hate, the criticism. So it's a combination of those things. But most of my intelligence comes from the fear that I faced. Every fear I faced has given me a new understanding, another level of intelligence. Because when you face fear, you break through limiting beliefs. And obviously, if you've got limiting beliefs about your capabilities, well, that's a certain level of understanding. That's the level of intelligence that you're at. But when you surpass that, that understanding gets subsided. You evolve. Your understanding evolves because you evolve, because your courage evolves, your self-esteem evolves. But we live in a generation today where we have a lot of talking, but not much action. My message is less talk, more action. And I always say to clients, and I say this to myself, you can talk, but take action first. Go out, take action. Go and face all your fears, or go and face one a week. And then sit down and you can talk and quote and recommend books to people because you're living it, you're doing it, you're an example. You're not a living, walking, lying contradiction who just talks crap, who just says stuff to get approval or because it's the right thing to say, but it comes from someone who is not living it, not qualified to say those things. And I've always said as well, motivation is such a huge part of successfully overcoming fear. You've got to be motivated to do it. You can't be all placid. You can't just be passive all the time. You can't just be introverted and be like that and just go, yeah, I might face my fears. That ain't gonna get you anywhere. That's gonna destroy your life. That's very dangerous from what I've observed when you're like that. Now, being relaxed is really good. It's good character, but there's certain situations where being relaxed is not right. It depends on the situation, and a lot of people hide behind that. They pretend, they give on the surface that they're really relaxed and they're not phased and they're unreactive and nothing really bothers them. I've found those people to be the most frightened, to be hiding it the most, because that's another way of giving up and quitting. It's like head down. It's just like, yeah, I don't care about anything. It's not good. It's not a good attitude if you want to be happy. You've got to care about something. You've got to care about something. And usually we do. We care about our family. We care about our, making a good impression. And that's good. That's going to help you to build self-esteem. So you can't just be laxy-daisy about fear. You've got to have some. You've got to have some. There's got to be some passion there. There has to be something more than fear, overcome. That ain't gonna work. That's just another form of being a coward, quitting out. That's too weak. It's not gonna work. But I can say this, right? Because you can always, well, in most cases, you can always find positives if you choose to find them. If at the moment, and it probably is the case for most of you, no disrespect, I'm just talking straight with you, right? Being honest with you. That's all I can be. At the moment, most of you, I'd say probably 90%, if not more, 99% of you are not facing your fears in your life. And you've been doing that for a long time. And that's unfortunately making you suffer. That's given you a lot of emotional suffering, a lot of pain in your life, a lot of loneliness and unhappiness and shame and all those things. And it's making you have low self-esteem. The lesson that I took from that is getting to a point where it's so painful. Living is so painful that you can't do it anymore, and then you've got to face your fears, and that's I hope that's the case for all of you, so you can be happy and become the person that you want to be, and at least have some real improvement in your life. And that's what's happened to me at different stages of my life, where the pain's become so unbearable. The pain of not taking action, the pain of not facing the fear, the pain of feeling and being a coward is so horrible. It's so hurtful. It's so frightening and lonely and uncomfortable that I've had no choice to get off my backside and go out and face my fears. And that's when all of the pain has stopped. So I just realized this today. Everybody's looking for a painkiller, but the best painkiller in this world is facing fear. When you face fear, your pain dies. Your pain goes. It literally does. But a lot of people choose the other option, the painkillers in porn, no FAP or FAP and whatever you call it, junk food, alcohol, partying, drugs, even making love can be another painkiller. Negative relationships, negative conversations, negative consumption, excessive amounts of time on social media and your phone, sleeping, long sleeping or bad sleeping patterns, a lack of grooming, a lack of fitness, nutrition. That becomes people's painkiller, but that doesn't resolve the pain long term. The only thing that does is confronting the fear and confronting the fear long term. So life generally will be good to you and it will reward you. It will definitely reward your psychology, your self-esteem. And that's all you really need to go out and do anything you want to do if you face your fears. But like I said, a lot of people will fail because when I say that or someone else says it and I'm telling you and teaching you this, they will push it away. Your ego, not even ego, just you, just your human nature will go, it will push that away. If it doesn't want to do it, it will push what I'm saying away. It will criticize the truth of what I'm saying, the actual facts of what you got to do, because you don't want to face it. You want to weigh out. And that's why a lot of you on the live streams, I've noticed, you try to distract me from when I'm doing these teachings. You don't even know you're doing it consciously, but you ask me questions about other things, about politics, or mundane questions about my hairstyle, about my height. And that's the fear, that's the insecurity trying to stop me saying the truth to you because you don't want to hear it, because it hurts you to hear it. And I'm aware of it because I have life skills, social skills, 10 years of teaching skills. And obviously these are things that I did. I've done these things myself. So I recognize these behaviors in people. Obviously, some of the questions are genuine and they're great. And I say, you can ask me questions. But when I don't say that, you ask me questions that have got nothing to do with the talk. And that's a distraction. And that's a way of getting out of it. That's a way of distracting. And that is part of being a coward. I'm just going to tell you the truth. It is. So now you're aware of these things. If you've got heart and you can handle someone telling you the truth, you can change it and become great. I know this talk's going to change people's lives, because this talk changed my life. It's changed thousands, and that's why today I'm just saying. Have you guys noticed that I'm not reading from a script? Yeah, I'm checking my phone to see the time because I've got to obviously go to the gym. I've been speaking for 40 minutes. And I'm not running out of what to say. It's just coming and coming because it's all wisdom. It's all from my life experience. Yeah, just by the way, I always appreciate all of you coming on. Appreciate the support. Thank you very much. And I'm pleased that the teaching and my work is continuing to make a difference to a lot of people, even people that might not be able to face their fears at the moment. It's giving them some emotional support. It's making them feel and understand that they're not on their own and that they can do it and that they shouldn't give up. And, you have to be patient as well. I've said that before. I've never said that this is a quick fix. The only way really, and it's not a quick fix, but it would be quicker for all of you if you took my coaching. Obviously, not everybody's going to take my coaching, and I wouldn't be able to coach every person. That wouldn't be possible. But if more of you invested in the coaching, your problems would be solved quicker, as opposed to if you just continue as you are, because you'd have my help. Well, that's a good question. My favorite memory since doing this channel, I can't really say, to be honest, Casey, because I've got so many, and it just wouldn't be accurate for me to say, well, this is my favorite memory, because there's so many, and I'm so enjoying this in the moment now. That all I can think about right now is the talk today, which is teaching you how to overcome your fears. But that's a good question. That's something I'd have to think about, but I couldn't put that down to like my favorite memory, because there's been many good memories in all the time of doing YouTube and teaching. But that's a good question. That's made me think about that. Right. Even though I know the answer, how many of you have got help today from hearing this talk? Let us know it in the chat. Sorry, I'm just checking my phone, make sure the time. But like I said, appreciate you from Canada. Nice to meet you, Leo. I think it's the first time I've met you. If you enjoy my work, subscribe to the channel, and if you've done it already, I appreciate it. So I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on fear, because I realize at the moment, obviously, there's a lot of fear and how to overcome it. And I'm going to keep doing these talks because they're a lot of fun. And I said it on one of my other streams that this doesn't have to be all this. Facing fear can be the most happiest, joyous, rewarding, amazing, remarkable, interesting thing you've ever done in your life. A lot of people are under the assumption that facing their fears in their life is going to be miserable, and that is not true. It's the opposite. A life of avoidance is a miserable life. I tried it. It's a horrible life. It's lonely. It's absolute agony. You're in pain every day. It affects everything in your life, relationships. That is painful. Facing fear is exciting. Yeah, it's frightening. Yeah. But, fear and excitement are closely linked. It's very rewarding, very rewarding. And it really is. No, I'm not aware of that. Not aware of that. But yeah, like I said, a tip today, and I've seen a lot of you struggle with this, and a lot of people do until they you have to be aware of it and then correct it. You need to be focused. You have to practice not being distracted, because every time you're going to decide to face a fear, your mind's going to distract you and try to stop you and deter you away from doing it, because your mind, for most part, is designed to protect you. There's no consideration whatsoever of you being happy. It just wants you to not face your fear. Basically, your mind wants you to be a coward. It gets off on that. But your heart, your true nature, whatever we call it, your heart, your spirit, your soul, it wants you to be happy. It wants you to excel. It wants you to grow. It wants you to challenge. It wants you to be frightened and overcome it. It wants to overcome these things so you can get a better understanding of yourself. What business is it of yours, Sonny? I'm just curious. What's that got to do with you facing your fears today? Tell me that. Answer me that question, right? And I'll answer your question. That's fair, isn't it? So, what's that got to do with you facing your fears today, Sonny, or you not being able to? You answer me that, and I'll answer your question, mate. Good to see you, Fred Blogs. Yeah, that's true, Bobby. That's true. Our minds do trick us. They trick us into wanting to being a coward. But the reality is, listen, I'm going to be straight because I was about to not be honest then. I was going to not be honest for a second to not upset everyone. But the real truth is, we are cowards if we're not facing our fear. I can't lie to you guys and just say, I have to be honest. And I swear this is from my heart. Every single one of you could be successful. Every single one of you could be the opposite of a coward. Every single one of you could. But there's an if. If you did the things I said today, which is simple but take courage, because I did it. I'm not better than anyone in this live stream or anyone, but I'm not below anyone. I just found my courage and went out and did it and continued to do it. But if you're not doing it, then I can't reward you and say you're great, because I can't reward behavior which is not successful. I can't. It's not being honest. So if you're not taking action and you've not been doing it, I have to say, unfortunately, you're all being cowards. It's true. And that's in the dictionary. That's not me offending you or criticizing you. That's me just being frank. Obviously, I don't want that. That's why I'm here to teach. We want to change the outcome. And I'm sure you guys don't want that. I understand. I will be doing some videos on that. Okay. Now I'm going to answer this question, and I appreciate this, Brian, because Brian has stayed on the topic, and I think that's being a good, respectful person. Because if I was on someone's live stream, and I'm a very respectful person, and I do go on other things, and I learn from others, if they were doing a talk on fear or business, something that I was interested in and I needed help with, I wouldn't disrespect them online. I wouldn't disrespect a teacher and start asking questions that are invasive or rude or nothing to do with the talk. So I appreciate that, Brian. I would ask them and be humble and say, look, I need some help with this. Can you advise me? Okay. Did you get any help or any coaching to overcome your fear? Did you do it sheer will? I want to be straight with you, Brian, right? You know, I get emotional when I say this. The first man in my life, do you know the first man who taught me how to face fear? My dad. Obviously, I didn't have to pay my dad because he was my dad. And I didn't look at my dad as my coach when I was younger because he didn't say, I'm your coach. He was my father. My dad was the first man in my life who taught me how to face fear. Then later on, there were points no, that's actually not true. Sometimes we get things mixed up. My father taught me how to face fear. And then I took what he taught me and I continue to practice it in my life. If it wasn't for my dad, actually, I got to give my dad credit. I've said this before. I'm sure my dad would appreciate this. It's true. If it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be here doing this. I wouldn't have taught anyone. I wouldn't be here. Because if my dad didn't come in and intervene when I was younger, I'd be living like a coward now for my life. I would be a complete pussy, a complete wimp. But thankfully, my dad came in at a young age because I was sensitive, very scared kid. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. And he came in and, he did his best to make a man of me and he succeeded. And then obviously later on, I developed it. I continued. So that's the answer. That's fantastic, man. Well done. See, that's what you get when you take responsibility and you face your fears, which obviously you did. Well done. You've got a date this evening, so well done to you. And that's what I love. I don't I don't get enjoyment out of coming on a live stream and everyone's miserable. Everybody's life's going terrible. Nobody's getting any results. So it always makes me happy. Like when I get a good question from Brian, because I know how much that's going to help you, Brian, telling you my story or some of it. That will inspire you to make changes in your life. And seeing Fred blogs that's got a date this evening. We need more people having this experience. Hey, Johnny, I'm moving out tomorrow after my mum's house as I had to move back home because of lockdown. Is that good? Is that I guess that means a lot to you. If that does, then I'm happy for you. And if you had to face your fears, and I'm sure you had to, well done to you. Well done to anyone, any person, not just on this live stream, anyone around the world, any man or woman who faced the fear. You got the utmost respect from me because I know what it takes. I know what it takes to face fear. This talk's brilliant. We're going to continue. So I've got to leave in about 5 minutes to go to the gym. I knew this would go well. This is why I've got to do a ton of videos on this. Yeah, well, like I said in the last one, Chris, well done to you because you've been facing a lot of fears since COVID and every live stream you come on. So keep doing it. You're welcome. You're very welcome. That's the least I can do. And well done, guys. It's a small thing, but some people felt it. Well done for having good manners and being thankful. Because I think if you can't be thankful for someone who's helping you, and the same way that I'm thankful for all the support that you guys give me and all the support you've been giving me year in, year out, I'm always really thankful. Then what else really do you have in life? Good to see you, to me, Ryan. That's a bit long and deep right now, mate. I haven't got time to get into that. But I generally, I hope you're doing well. I hope things are getting better for you. No, I've got an event on the 19th. There's a Phyllis event on the 19th. You already know the answer to that question, Tony, so I'm not going to get into that now. That's got nothing to do with the topic today. Well, I'm not going to get into that. That doesn't feel right. But you know the answer to that question. You know my heart. You know what I think about with being honest, respecting people. So you know the answer to that question. Could you do a video on how to overcome getting frustrated in social situations? Yeah, I could do that. Explain a little bit more when you say frustrated, because you need to elaborate a bit more. Frustrated about what? Then I can answer the question if I understand it. But frustrated about what, Chris? Let me know. You know what, guys? I'm not going to get into sport because this topic's not about sport today. This topic is about fear. This is about me helping you guys to overcome your fears, to keep overcoming them. And it's also the opportunity for you guys to share with me success in your life. That's what I like to hear. So that's what this is for. We're not going to get into other topics. I'm going to go in 3 minutes. But maybe when I do another live stream, which is more talking about anything, then we can get into different things. Okay, Chris. So you're saying do a video explaining how to deal with getting frustrated in social situations when they don't go well, and how to deal with that. You're very welcome, Leo. Thanks for coming on. It's good to see new faces. So thanks, and thank you for subscribing. And I'm sure you'll continue to watch my videos if you want to. You're going to watch them and they help you. Right, guys, I'm going to go boxing. Thanks for coming on. It was brilliant today. I really enjoyed it. And thank you for listening to me. And I'm looking forward to you guys acting more on this advice. So have a great day. And I'll speak to all of you soon, right? Have a good one. The Phyllis event went great. Went really good. You can come to the next one if you want, Chris. It's on the 19th. Give me an email if you want to come. If you can't, not a problem at all. All right, guys, have a great day. All right, remember, become fearless.